Good. It's interesting. The sun is just coming up at my house, and it has already gone down at your house.
Yes.
Different times of day. Okay, you did a very good job explaining the things in your summary answers for our book we just read. Tran, would you like to read me your summary questions and answers?
Okay. 1. Did you like reading this book? Why or why not? Yes, I love reading this book. This book is very fantastic and interests me by what happens to young children during wartime. 2. Did you learn anything new from reading this book? What did you learn? Yes, I learned many things new from reading this book. I learned the way Emery protected her friends, the way she thinks positively about everything that happens around her. And 3. What was your favorite part of the book? Why was it your favorite part? My favorite part of the book is the end of the book because after all everything is back. Emery still has a good life, but it's just a pity that Ellen is no longer with her. 4. Who was your favorite character? Why was that person your favorite? My favorite character is Emery.
You just say character. You don't have to pronounce the H there. It's just character.
My favorite character is Emery because she is very brave and is kind to everyone. 5. Do you think reading this book and answering the questions help you improve your English? Why or why not? Yes, of course, because reading can improve my accent and answering the questions from the book can help me understand the meanings of the sentences.
Very good. That's why we have questions to answer, so we make sure you understand the meaning. Very good. Okay, Bautron, would you like to read yours?
Okay. Did you like reading this book? Why or why not? Yes, I did because I like reading, and this book told me about a history during the long years of the German occupation in Denmark 1940 to 1945. The writer of this book was very amazing and so well at writing books like this. That makes the story of the book great and we can know many things about the book. Did you learn anything new from this book? What did you learn? Yes, I did. I learned that if I try to face all the fears, the things that make me scared, or I always remember, it will help me pass them easily without obstacles ahead.
Good.
What was your favorite part of the book? Why was it your favorite part? My favorite part of the book was when Emery had to be brave enough to talk to the German soldiers with a normal voice and act like a silly girl. Because I like the way she acts as a silly little girl, and I think she is a very brave and good girl who tried her best to finish her mission.
Good.
Who was your favorite character? Why was that person your favorite? My favorite character was Emily Johansson because she had a kind heart and always wanted to live a happy life with her family and play with other kids just like a normal child. She will try her best to do something that could make her family happy. Do you think reading this book and answering the questions help you improve your English? Why, why or why not? Yes, I do think reading this book and answering questions help me improve my English because when I read books, there are many new words that I haven't known before, so I will have to study them. Reading a book and answering it can make me have more ideas to do the writing exams at school and can make me study English better.
Okay, very good. Now you had said THERE apostrophe RE for there are, and that can be correct, but that is not the way we usually say it. It's more common to say there are, okay? The two separate words there. But you both did very good, and I think you did a very good explanation of explaining why you like things or why you didn't like things. Okay, now we're going to read this new book, and I hope you like it. And every single student I have used this book with said they learned things about the Central Highlands of your country that they never knew before. So it's very good. So let's start with the introduction, The Land I Lost, and let's see, and we're going to read. Okay, Tran, would you like to start and read that section?
Okay. The land I lost. I was born on the central highlands of Vietnam in a small hamlet on a riverbank that had a deep jungle on one side and a chain of high mountains on the other. Across the river, rice fields straight to slope of another chain of mountains. There were 50 houses in our hamlet, scattered along the river or propped against the mountainsides. The houses were made of bamboo and covered with a coconut leaf, and each was surrounded by a deep trench to protect it from wild animals or death. The only way to enter a house was to walk across a monkey bridge, a single bamboo stick that spanned the trench. At night, we put the bridge into our house and were safe. There were no shops or marketplace in our hamlet. If we needed supplies, medicines, cloth, soaps, or candles, we had to cross over the mountain and travel to a town nearby. We used the river mainly for traveling to distant hamlets, but it also provided us with plenty of fish. During the 6-month rainy season, nearly all of us have planted and cultivated fields of rice.
Cultivate. That means you got
Cultivate,
them ready and plant. Cultivate.
cultivate fields of rice, sweet potatoes, Indian mustard, eggplant, tomatoes, hot peppers, and corn. But during the dry season, we became hunters and turned to the jungle. Wild animals played a very large part in our life. There were 4 animals who feared the most: the tiger, the lone wild hog, the crocodile, and the horse snake. Tigers were always trying to steal cattle. Sometimes, however, when a tiger became old and slow, it became a minotaur. But
Man-eater.
man,
Man-eater. It would eat people.
man-eater, but a long wild hog was even more dangerous than a tiger. It attacked every creature in sight, even when it had no need for food. Or it did crazy things, such as charging into the hamlet in broad daylight, ready to kill or to be killed. The river had different dangers, crocodiles, but of all the animals, the most hated and feared was the huge horse snake. It was sneaky and attacked people and cattle just for the joy of killing. It would either crush its victim to death or poison it with a bite. Like all farmers' children in Hamlet, I started working at the age of 6. My 7 sisters helped by working in the kitchen, weeding the garden, gathering eggs, or taking water to the cattle. I looked after the family herd of water buffaloes. Someone always had to be with the herd because no matter how carefully a water buffalo was trained, it always was ready to nibble young rice plain when no one was looking. Sometimes, too, I fished for the family while I guard the herd, for there were plenty of fish in the flood rice field during the rainy season. I was 12 years old when I made my first trip to the jungle with my father. I learned how to track game, how to recognize useful roots, or to distinguish edible mushroom from poisonous one. I learned that if birds, raccoons, squirrels, or monkeys had eaten the fruit of certain trees, then those fruits were not poisonous. Often they were not delicious, but they could calm immense hunger and thirst. My father,
Calm. Calm, that means take care of the hunger. Calm a
oh,
man's hunger and thirst.
my father, like most of the villagers, was a farmer and hunter, depending upon the season. But he also had a college education, so in the evenings he had to teach other children in our hamlet, for it was too small to afford a professional school teacher. My mother managed the house, but during the harvest season she could be found in the fields, helping my father get the crops home and as the wife of a hunter. She knew how to dress and nurse a wife and took good
Wound. Wound. That's when you
wound,
get hurt. A wound.
wound and took good care of her husband and his hunting dogs. I went to the lowlands to study for a while because I wanted to follow my father as a teacher when I grew up. I always planned to return to my hamlet to live the rest of my life there. But war disrupted my dreams. The land I loved was left me forever. These stories are my memories.
Okay. Bautron, would you like to read where it says tank the water buffalo?
Okay. Take the water buffalo. My family had land on which we grew rice during July to January, the rainy season. The rice field was broad, and only water buffaloes could be used to till the soil. We owned three water buffaloes, one male and two females. One day our male died of old age. My father decided to look for the ideal water buffalo to replace him. A boy that was both a hard worker and a good fighter. Fighting ability was important because Tiger the herd near the edges of the jungle. Buffalo born and raised among mountain tribes had a reputation of being excellent fighters, but they were often too fierce,
Fierce and violent.
fierce violence, and impatient to handle. On the other hand, buffaloes born and raised in the lowlands were patient and obedient,
Obedient.
but they did not make good fighters, for they lived in an area where fierce predators did not exist.
Predators. Predators
Predator-
means, yeah,
Predators
predators.
did not exist. Neither a type of buffalo would meet my father's needs. However, it was possible to have the ideal buffalo if a young bull had a fierce father from the mountains and a patient mother from the lowlands. It unusual mixture occurred if a fierce rotten bull wandered down to the lowlands and met a female which would bear its offspring. The owner of the female might not know that he had a mixed bull calf until the calf grew older and the thickness of its coat indicate the mountain origins of its father. So sometimes a farmer who had more buffaloes than he needed would unwittingly sell a valuable mixed blood calf.
Okay, that means he would unwittingly means he wouldn't realize that he was selling a really good mixed blood calf, okay?
At the range of a buffalo market in a town far below the river and bought it at a good price. I was 6 years old when my father brought the new calf home. He let me give the young buffalo food and water, and sometimes he allowed me to pet its shoulder, but he told me never to approach it when I was alone, for calves were unpredictable. Also, they usually obey everybody taller than they were. They did not obey small children, and sometimes I hurt them. I listened to my father, but I trust our calf. I know I knew he and I would become great friends. Our calf grew into a handsome and powerful buffalo. He not only became the head of our small herd, but also became the head of all the herds of our hamlet. After many ferocious and successful fights with the other males, we named him Tang because when he hit another male during a fight, he struck as heavily as a Tang. One day, a young bull from a nearby hamlet trespassed on Tang's territory and challenged his authority. Tang roared a few times to warn the intruder, but the other buffalo was determined to fight. When we heard Tang's roars, we knew that there was a trouble in the field. Everyone in the hamlet rushed to a hill to watch the fight. We could not prevent it, so we stayed on high ground to protect ourselves. For a defeat, buffalo would often run to humans to be rescued, and in its panic trembled them. Tan left his herd and faced the arrogant intruder. The other buffaloes stopped eating and waited. Suddenly, the two bulls charged and ran into each other head-on. I heard a mighty thud. Both buffaloes fell back. My heart was pounding. It was the first time any of us has ever seen Tang fall back. Tang was the pride of the hamlet, and we would be very ashamed if he lost the fight, or worse, if Tang were killed. Some of our female buffalo might follow the victorious bull home to the other hamlet, and it would be very hard to bring them back.
Okay, now I'll read for a little bit. The two buffaloes recovered from the powerful collision and ran at each other again. This time they locked horns and tried to twist and break each other's necks. Next, each pushed the other and tried to overturn him. At first, the intruder sustained Tank's push very well, but then little by little he began to lose ground. Tank pushed him further and further backward. Unfortunately for the other buffalo, who had fought quite well so far, there was a deep trench behind him. When his two hind legs fell into the trench, the animal was helpless. Tank's sharpened horns hit first his neck and then his shoulders. But unlike other buffaloes, this one did not call for help. My father felt sorry for the bull, and he asked my cousin, whom Tank loved the best, to try to stop Tank from killing him. My cousin rushed to Tank's side and called his name. Tank, furious because he was hurt himself, nevertheless listened to my cousin and let him lead him away. The defeated intruder was rescued from the trench and set free, and we never saw or heard from him again. Tank became so famous that people from far away brought females to breed with him. Buffalo thieves also considered him a prize. One day it rained very hard and Tank did not come home. The next morning we went to look for him. We asked a friend who had a hound dog to help us. My father, my cousin, and I, and a few well-armed friends followed the hound and found Tank near a river crossing about 15 kilometers from home, tied to the root of a tree. Okay, I'm going to stop there. You need to finish reading this chapter and read the next one that is called My Cousin, okay? And that will be to page 18. And I will send you the questions. Now, when I send the questions for this, there will usually always be two parts of the question, so be very careful to answer them both. Like the first question this week is, do you know what a monkey bridge is? Then the next question is, have you ever been on one? So don't forget to answer them both and send me back your answers when you're finished. And I hope you like reading this book and you have a good week, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, and I will see you both next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.